I'm not going back and forth with a man who thinks that they should be in my position. If you want to be in my position, get in my position.
Do you believe that?
Bluff City Media presents The Anthony Sain Show on YouTube at Bluff City Media. Stepping up to the microphone is your host, Anthony Sain.
Acknowledge me.
What's going on, everyone? Welcome to the Anthony Sain Show. This, of course, is your host, Anthony Sain. Sitting here live in the Bluff City Media Studios. Kenny Stubblefield, what's going on, my brother?
Looking hella dope over here, man. What's
bro,
going
you know
on,
my boy
man?
should do a sandals, man. Ship these joints out to me, man. I'm flexing on them with the Apple Watch, man. You know what I'm saying? Y'all know what it is, bro. Y'all know what it is for sure, bro. But nah, we sitting up here live, man. I got the, you know what I'm saying? I got them things on, them things stanging on my face. Look, John, look good on me, don't know, bro.
Them things stanging, man.
Yeah, man. I got them joints, man. Courtesy of Coach Deion Sanders, man. I shipped them out to your boy. He saw how they was coming at me on Twitter, man.
He knows
about these little.
He knows you believe, man.
Yeah, you know, man. Everybody, bro, I could choose not to be a part of the Tiger football games live. Shout out to all the people who sent me invites. Not nobody on no hating type, mean type shit, but folks like, man, bring your kid, bring your son, tailgate with me, man. I'll show you it's a better time than what you think it is. Props to all y'all, man, but I'm good. I'm straight. Like Gabe be saying, I'm straight.
I'll say this. You would have a good time if you went.
Bro, I've been to games, fam.
Not as a fan.
I went to tailgating last year. I just didn't go to the game.
I'm just saying, you would have fun. I'm not saying you should go.
Last like 4 or 5 times I've been, I was not going as media, bro. I was there as a fan.
I mean, listen.
I'd rather like not sitting there. If my choice is to sit out in the hot sun in Memphis.
Oh no.
And do Sweet Caroline and swag surf.
Yeah. Listen.
Jack Purtle's chicken dance. I'd rather be at the house, man, just vibe.
I had a chance to go to a UFC event not long ago. Mm-hmm. My wife was like, you know what? I want to hook you up for your anniversary.
Yeah.
I want to hook you up. I want you to go. And I turned her down. I said, no, I'm good. You know why? Because I want to watch it on TV because I like it better. Listen, there's not many sporting events that are more enjoyable live than at sitting in the comfort of your couch.
I'd much rather watch basketball in person. Than on television.
Well, that makes sense.
With football. But here's the thing with football, man. Like, I'm not the hugest football fan in the world.
Neither am I.
But when I do sit down and I watch football on Saturday or Sunday, I am a bootleg guy. So I got all the NFL Sunday ticket. I got all that bootleg at the house, man. I can watch if there's 100 college football games in my directory, there are 100 college football games on Saturday. Mm-hmm. So I like to be able to go from game to game.
All right, here's an argument I heard this weekend.
All right.
After the last Tiger game, after the last back and forth you had on Twitter, why is Anthony, a Memphis media guy, talking about Colorado and not the Tigers?
First of all, I'm not a Memphis media guy. I've
right.
explained that to y'all for a decade now. Like I'm not a media guy.
Nope.
I'm just a dude with a mic to my mouth who's talking about what I want to talk about. I don't. And then another thing, bro. Even if you do want to call me media guy, like I said, I've covered the University of Memphis football team for a Tri-State Defender. I don't work for the University of Memphis. Like this, it's not my job to be a fan of that team.
Right.
Like, what are you talking about? Like that makes no logical sense.
Well,
like,
I've heard you say this about Colorado. It's not about.
It ain't even about football.
It's not about football.
Quit playing with me.
Yep.
Because you know what? When I take these joints off, man, I got these shades today. I got a pair of these, and I got a pair for my son. These aren't the real Coach Prime joints, of course, because I ain't got it like this. But I got these to put on my son today. And he's got a football game tonight, his first night game of the season. And
let's go, Big Gabe.
And we celebrating Gabe today, man. I'm gonna put the stunner shades on his face. You know what I mean? My brother got him some stuff, some gifts for him. We celebrating Gabe today, man. I'm gonna put the Shedeur Sanders stunners on his face, man. I want my kid to feel like he's the best player in the world. You know what I mean? Regardless. That's what I'm on, bro. I don't care nothing about.
That's right.
And that's what Coach Prime is about, man. Building up these young men, bro. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, letting them know that they can get that money and they can be successful men, fathers, all those type of things, not just stock or an asset or
right.
You know, all those type of things. So yeah, man, that's what I'm about. I don't care about this crap, man. I don't care about this stuff. Like if I watch the Tigers, I'm watching as a fan. I enjoy watching the games. I want to see them win. We'll talk about that in the 3-pointer today as well. They're 4-1 on the season, looking good. We'll talk about that for sure. But man, I have no desire to go to those games because like Grizzlies games are therapeutic for me, but they also feel like work when I'm going to those.
Absolutely.
It's hard for me to relax at a Grizzlies game.
Same with Tiger basketball, same with Memphis Grizzlies for me too.
Which is why, like, if I go to people, like, I joke about how I love going to 901 FC games. But I genuinely do because I can literally unwind there. Like, I can totally unplug from everything. Like, nobody knows who I am. Nobody wants to talk about the Grizzlies when I get there. I can sit down and I can just kind of blend in with these people who aren't my normal group of people.
Right.
And we just vibe. And it's like, I enjoy watching live soccer. Like, it's good. Yeah. I enjoy watching my son's live soccer games.
Yeah.
Like, when I go to a Tiger football game, it's going to be kind of loud and there's going to be, like, stuff going on. And I can't really, it's cool, but it's like, I just don't want to be there, bro. Like, I'm good. It's nothing about the Tiger football games and all team. And all of this really, started from the whole, where's the money going thing or whatever. And I still stand the same way I said on it. It's not, that group of people is not big enough to really speak for the city. And you don't reflect the city, man. And that's something you guys need to work on. That's not nothing I need to work on. You know what I mean? Like, because I had these conversations. I've had these conversations even in our Discord with people who agree with me. And there's a clear ball that's been dropped as far as the disconnect between the actual city and the people who attend games. And there's small things that I think could have been done. I think that the Memphis Grizzlies did a great job through their Tickets for Kids program, for one thing, by getting inner city kids into these games for free.
Anthony, how many times did we take our kids to Memphis Grizzlies games?
You know what? I'm just now remembering right now. I'm about to get emotional thinking about it. Right. Me and you used to load up our opposing vans full of inner city kids, taking them to games. And we built Grizzly fans because of that, man. All those kids that we were taking in middle school and high school that lived in those inner city neighborhoods are Grizzly fans. To this day, they saw Zach Randolph in them, and they saw and they related to that team, and they became Grizzly fans because the Grizzlies were intentional about getting those kids into the games.
And they didn't give them lower bowl seats.
The kids had seats way up at the top.
And had a blast.
But those kids had a blast. Could not wait to get in the van, Mr. Anthony's van. I forgot that you did the same thing for Mam too, bro.
Absolutely.
Damn. Hell yeah, bro. And you know it. You know that works, man. And that's what the whole thing boils down to. University of Memphis has a major disconnect with the current and next generation. My man, Michael Horrell, shout out to my man, Michael, who was there yesterday at Media Day, representing the Solid Media Group. He was like, man, I'm 24 years old with a wife and kid. He's like, man, I don't know anything about Tiger basketball. That should scare the shit out of y'all. Don't get mad at me for pointing that type of stuff out. That should worry you. There is a ball that has been dropped with that program as far as reaching the next and the current generation of people. When there's that much of a disconnect. I make all the jokes about Meemaw and Mildred and all those type of things. There is a disconnect. Do you find people scattered in that represent a different demographic? Sure. But for the most part, it's a huge divide between what's there.
Most of the time, that's a legacy thing, right?
Yeah.
Like, you got a bunch of legacy fans.
It's gatekeeping too, man. It's gatekeeping.
Yeah.
They want it to be their country club where they just kind of do their thing. And like that's kind of how it's. Come on, man. Like, that stadium is in the middle of Orange Mound. If you wanted a more diverse group of people there, they'd be there. Period, bro.
Yeah.
Period.
And I think that's it's not a hard fix either. Like, that's the thing I think that needs to be understood is you get your jokes off and people get riled up about your jokes.
But if you want to talk about the real conversation, we can have that too.
And you've had that numerous times. Yeah. And I think that's the real part of this conversation, that it's like, it's a level of, and can I just give my input on it real quick? The University of Memphis has struggled for so long to make money that they have targeted a group of people that they think have money.
Have the money, and we're gonna milk this cow until this run out of milk.
And that's where I think that disconnect has happened. Is a lot of the kids that we would bring to games, for Grizzlies games, they could
not afford to be there.
Number one, they couldn't afford to be there, and they're probably not going to be able to give a lot of money or become a booster or become whatever for
a
university. And that's who they've targeted. And again, understanding that that's a necessity, you've also kind of dropped the ball with this next generation of kids that
have no clue
about what's going on with your school.
And Micah is a hoops junkie. He's like, man, I don't know nothing about Tiger basketball. Right. How is that possible?
You got the freaking most popular guy in the history of Memphis sports coaching that university's team. And again, we have conversations all the time about declining attendance every single year.
Yeah.
And it's like, man, this should not be the case.
No.
Not with who's at the helm of that university's major program.
Right. Well, this ain't what I want to open the show with, but
Sorry,
we're here.
man.
Yeah,
Yep.
you good, bro? Because you know what? My man Drew Hill's coming in today for the sit down with Sain. I'm going to get about y'all way. We're going to talk about Media Day, which was fire on Monday, man.
Wild stuff, man.
It was great, man. Derrick Rose had me in that mug about feelings. They're not, bro, I was asking questions, difficult questions, funny questions all day long. When Derrick Rose walked in that building, man, my mouth was locked up shut. And eyes was wide open, listening and learning from Derrick Rose, man, who was teaching a master class at Grizzlies Media Day for sure.
Well, and I'll just say this. We need to celebrate because it's here, man. The season is here.
Oh, man, we made it.
Anthony, you made it, man.
We made it, bro.
We made it through a lot of nothing.
We started this show in the middle of the offseason of the NBA. This is a Grizzlies-centric show. We do our Grizzlies heavy, basketball heavy, Tiger basketball, Grizzlies heavy show.
And we're here, man.
We came in during the deadest time of all of that. We made it. Drew Hill is here today for episode number 33. It's going down. We'll give him my boy Drew after the break. Here in the Anthony Sain Show. We'll see y'all in a minute.
Bluff City Media and Bluff City NIL are proud partners of Coaching for Literacy, a Memphis nonprofit using the power of sports to impact childhood literacy. When you donate to Bluff City NIL through Coaching for Literacy, your gift is 100% tax deductible. This partnership is a win-win-win. Tiger student athletes win in the NIL landscape, Coaching for Literacy wins by engaging Tiger student athletes in this monumental cause, and most importantly, elementary students in Memphis receive support to become strong readers. To donate today, visit coachingforliteracy.org/bluff-city.
Seth Hennigan, we've been critical of him and his performance and turning the ball over, and this game was really on his shoulders, and he delivered.
He delivered, man. It just felt very uninspiring. The first, quarter and a half or quarter and three quarters of the second quarter. It just felt completely uninspired football coming from the Tigers. And a lot of it was on, with Seth, the way that he was, there just didn't seem to be a whole lot of, let's go. What's the word I'm looking for? Just
sense of
urgency to really get things going. And then that shifted, man.
It wasn't his most passing yards or his most touchdowns or his most completions, but just as far as managing the game and keeping the team in the game and it was definitely the best performance from this year. And just thinking back, it's definitely up there for his best performance in a Memphis uniform.
Tune in to On the Bluff with Christian Fowler and Gabe Kuhn every Tuesday at 12 p.m. on the Bluff City Media YouTube channel.
Shout out to freaking Gillis for
shout out
stepping
for Gillis, dude.
Stepping in and looking like a kicker.
Was that not the weirdest tweet ever?
I don't want to even. It's disgusting. How do both of your scholarship kickers the first tweet I saw didn't say anything about injury, so I was like, it is the stomach bug. The Willis household has it. He was hanging out with Seth and Tristan.
Yeah, we all went to Firehouse.
They must have been roommates in St. Louis. They got boo-boo bottom and they can't play. And then somebody said they were injured, and I'm like, okay, what the hell's going on? Did they get hurt at Topgolf, trying to outdrive each other? I
have no clue how your kicker gets hurt. Not one.
Not just
them.
one,
both. Yeah,
both.
but
in
for
the same
both of
week.
them,
Something's fishy.
he said that he knew that they were hurt, but they were kind of day to day, so I didn't want to say anything about it.
Were they riding somewhere together and were in a minor car accident?
Tandem bikes?
Yeah, I don't know.
On a tandem bike and fell over.
Tune in to Tigers Untapped with TJ Willis and Trey Lasley every Wednesday at 3 p.m. on the Bluff City Media YouTube channel.
All right, y'all, welcome back to the Anthony Sain Show. Got a special guest with me. My man, Drew Hill from the Daily Memphian is in the building. Fresh off of Grizzlies Media Day, which was on Monday. Drew Hill, what's going on with you, fam?
What up? Episode 33, the Scottie Pippen episode.
Yeah, there it is.
You know, I got my Chicago hat on.
You're a Chicago guy, right?
Family's from Chicago.
Okay, yeah.
Family's still in Chicago, but it's good to be here, man.
Yeah, man, I love Chicago, man. The food, the flavor, like it's one of my favorite cities for sure. It seems like whenever I go, it's like the wrong time to go. Like I
you
went
gotta
for the
go in the
All-Star game.
summer, bro.
Yeah, I went to the All-Star game a couple years ago, the coldest I've ever been in my life. And then I went during the pandemic, I went. But media could get in.
Yeah.
I went to the United Center and it was surreal watching. I'm in like this historic arena and nobody's there. But they were doing everything as if people were there though.
Yeah, Chicago's dope. I have a blast there, but you got to go in the summer. Summer, their weather's like 75, sunny every single day.
Yeah, man.
Winter's
I'm sure it is.
awful. Don't even think about going.
Yeah, it's unbearable. But we were in attendance for Grizz Media Day yesterday. Oftentimes during Grizz Media Day, there aren't any really memorable moments outside of who gained 15 pounds of pure muscle and what did you work on this summer and, how was FIBA with Jaren. In years past, you really can't remember what happened outside of a couple of days after Media Day. But I think that, speaking of Chicago, the Derrick Rose pseudo press conference that we got, which was much more than just a Media Day availability. We hadn't had our introductory press conference with Derrick Rose. I think that I hate to get caught up in the moment. I hate to get caught up in recency bias, but that really came off to me like one of the better recorded moments in Grizzlies history. Like as far as a player stepping to the mic and
Grizzlies
some
history.
We've only been here 20-something years. So it's not like we're talking about Kareem Abdul-Jabbar stepping to the podium.
Media Day history.
Yeah. For real.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm not talking about some clown soundbite in the locker room. I'm talking about something meaningful.
I don't care. He's old.
Yeah, that type of stuff.
Yeah.
As far as things that have came out of a player's mouth. And I think what added to it was the fact that, we saw Derrick Rose, he was an 18-year-old kid, scared to look into the camera. You know what I mean? Scared to get interviewed. And now we see him as this man who's totally changed, Renaissance man. He's had his spiritual awakening. He's married with children. And he told people, I'm a different guy than I was when y'all saw me, in 2008. So what were your thoughts on Media Day as a whole, especially what you saw from the Derrick Rose interview, which was phenomenal?
Yeah, just Media Day as a whole, it's always great to get back in the building.
Mm-hmm.
Summers get slow, especially in August.
Yeah.
We get draft, we get through that. Summer league's always really fun.
Mm-hmm.
That's one of my favorite weeks of the whole year. And then it's nothing. It's just it's a wasteland.
Yeah, we're just
until
hoping
we
nothing
get to
crazy
Media
happens.
Day.
Yeah.
Right. So we can only talk about Ja being out the first 25 games so many times before it's just exhaustive and we're all done with it. And we were almost done with the Ja suspension stuff before the second one came, right? So everybody's really tired of talking about that. So to have guys in the building smiling, hanging out, they get, just to let people behind the curtain a little bit, they talk at the podium and then those guys hang out in the hallway, do whatever.
Taking
so
pictures,
if you're walking,
shooting skits and all kinds of stuff.
if you're walking out, you're probably just going to be hanging out, talking to some of these guys. I had the chance to talk with Santi about his engagement and he's getting married in 2025 and I'm going through the same process. So we were able to relate on that sort of thing. And that's what Media Day is about. It's about reconnecting with everybody. And from that standpoint, I thought it was a great day.
Yeah.
I mean, it started off on positive news. Ja's going to get to be around. You won't see him at the games, but I think it's kind of a big deal that.
Yeah, it is.
I mean, we assumed he'd be able to practice. He'd be able to use the team facilities. I don't think that's groundbreaking news, but to have him on the trips, to have him feel like he gets to be a part of the team still, as opposed to just, I'm sure it'd be miserable if he was sitting in his house the whole 25 games. So I thought that started out great, but you're right. Derrick Rose stole the show. Derrick Rose, that entire thing was just captivating from the beginning because you're right. He walks in and I was laughing this morning. I was watching Gary Parrish's show and I was laughing this morning. Gary Parrish's interview that they played from when he had just arrived in Memphis.
I watched it a couple years ago too. Yep.
And Gary has the most insane haircut of all time.
Thing,
It's so great. It's so perfect. Everything about it is perfect. And he's a good sport about it. He was like, man, that was such an uncomfortable interview to watch. But then to see what Derrick Rose is like now is shocking. And we mentioned the Chicago thing. I know lots of people in Memphis. I didn't grow up here, but a lot of people in Memphis have this connection to Derek.
Yeah.
And Derek clearly, to this point, still does not know how much people love him here. Like, that's obvious at this point. He's going to find out over these next few months, but people still love Derrick Rose.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
And to see him sort of walk in and talk and be super honest and bring up all of essentially his troubles that he's had, you just don't see guys do that ever.
Yeah.
Almost never. And to talk about how veterans really mattered for him when he was a young player. And I grew up watching those Derrick Rose years in Chicago.
Yeah.
That was my Derrick Rose experience. That's what got me to love the NBA, was watching him and thinking, oh my God, this is a guy, I have never seen anyone play basketball like this before. And now we have sort of the second Derrick Rose watching Ja, where you can watch him on a nightly basis and you're like, oh my God, I've never seen a guy play basketball like this before, except for maybe Derrick Rose. And to have him there talking about that, talking about how he knows his mentorship is going to matter in this situation, and being really brutally honest about his own story.
Yeah.
The whole thing impressed me from start to finish. I could not take my attention off of Derrick Rose. He spoke for, 15 minutes? Probably.
Yeah, he was in it for a while.
He spoke longer than almost every other player. And usually if you followed Derrick Rose's career path, you might expect him to give you a couple sentences on a question. Like, he was going on and on and on about just about everything. I asked him if there's any memories that come to mind and he just went on a tangent talking about how he spends his off season with his kids and just gave this answer that was like 3 minutes long. That is not the Derrick Rose of old. Like, it was impressive, really impressive.
We saw him here as a 18-year-old kid in Memphis as a freshman. You saw him as a pro when you were a Bulls fan, and I agree. That's not the same Derrick Rose that we saw. But it's crazy because I saw an interview that he did for a podcast. Can't remember the name of the show at all, but it was like a 3-hour podcast they had with Derrick Rose, and it was inside of a barbershop. And I ain't gonna lie, this was like part 2, the continuation of that podcast, because it was just more incredible stuff. Like, I've never sat there and watched anything like with just one person up there talking for 3 hours. And it was Derrick Rose, and I watched that. And then being a part of the thing yesterday, like, I was asking questions all day long. I didn't have nothing to ask Derrick Rose, man. I was so in awe of who he was and what he was saying. I was like, nah, I don't want to add to this at all.
And here's the thing: is like, Derrick Rose does not come without previous troubles, right?
Yeah.
And most of us do.
Yeah.
And I think it's easier for some people to just not think about that and be like, oh my gosh, it's Derrick Rose, than it is for others. Like, there are some people who I see on social media or whatever that are a little bit more hesitant to have this sort of embrace right away.
Right.
But nobody could listen to that yesterday
and not be
impressed.
Yeah.
Nobody.
Yeah, it was crazy stuff, man, for sure. Just to hear him out there and just being candid like he was. It was just small anecdotal things he was saying. Like, he was like, yeah, I told Coach and Climb and all them, like, I'm good, man. Don't bother me during the offseason. I promise you I'm fine. It's like, who have we had that would say that to? Like, what level of vet have we had that would say those type of things? And then also when he said that, like, he said, I kind of get what Ja's going through, because he said it's hard to say, put a vet around this guy when you're the one who's 19, 18 years old, scoring 20-something points per game. You're better than all these dudes. Who can you really talk to? Like, I enjoyed hearing him say that as well. But it's going to be interesting. I love hearing him talk about how he's not here to be a babysitter. He has to earn the right to be heard by Ja Morant. And it seems so organic, because, like, the tweet that I put out yesterday was talking about how when he said that he wanted a conversation with Ja on his own. I would love to know when that actually happened. Because I was wondering, was that after the first incident? Was that somewhere in between that? Was it after the second one? And he said he wanted to create that conversation with Ja Morant, and that led into him getting here.
I think you're right. I would love to know the answer to that question too. I don't know.
Let's ask them today. You think they'll let us get Derrick Rose?
I don't know. We'll see. Yeah. We'll see who they give us. But I do think that Zach Kleiman mentioned that there was a short list of players that they knew could come in and have an impact on the locker room. Now, Zach is not going to say Ja's name and single him out, because why would he do that? Right. I mean, that's his star player. But we know that that's a big focus here. Like it's obvious.
I don't think
Job's
Job's on the one that needs a little maturing.
That's true. And that he also mentioned that Derrick Rose was on that short list and Marcus Smart was on that short list. Seems like those were two of maybe 3 or 4 guys that they really had an interest in. The other guy we heard the rumors about this summer, Draymond Green. That seems like a guy that has Ja Morant's respect.
Right.
So it seems like they were searching for the types of players that they know either Ja respects right now, and we know that Ja has a ton of respect for Derrick Rose because we saw it, the exchange in MSG last year when he took the jersey off, signed it, gave it to D Rose. D Rose says he still has it, which is a cool part of the story.
Right.
So we know that respect is there. So it makes building that relationship so much easier.
Yeah.
And we also know that Marcus Smart is a guy that's going to demand your respect. Like there's going to be it's almost impossible to not respect him because he's almost so, like, this isn't the right word, but like crazy and so intense about everything, about every practice, about every detail that you have to respect it. And to add those two guys makes a ton of sense. We were not expecting some sort of D Rose signing, but I think immediately, almost in the days afterwards, we realized like, oh wow, this is going to be
really be big.
A pairing that can really work, and we're already seeing it. I think, if you're Ja, well, let me ask you this: if you're Ja and you're at home and you're listening to what Derrick Rose had to say, what do you think you're thinking?
If I was listening to what he said yesterday,
yes,
I would.
Particularly about being a mentor to him.
Of course, my ego, some of that would probably bother me because, he's probably tired of hearing all that type of stuff anyway. A small part of me, my ego, he's human. You know what I mean? I think that about him.
Of course.
But I would be super excited about it, man, because I know you're looking at a guy who he looks at as probably one of his GOATs. Like I talk about all the time, that when it comes to Memphis sports, Elliot Perry was the guy that introduced me to sports, period. Like Elliot Perry, if he was sitting on his chair, I would lose my mind. You know what I mean? If Elliot Perry was here. And Elliot, if you're watching, we can make that happen too. But, that's my guy. So it's all relative. To him, Derrick Rose probably was like his Michael Jordan. You know what I mean? So, or his Allen Iverson type guy or whatever. Kobe or whatever.
Kobe's Ja's guy.
But I'm just saying, though, like they're all that same tier of guy to him. So I'm sure that was a tremendous big deal for him to know that Derrick Rose is here.
I think he said all the right things. I mean, he was fair. He was honest. I mean, what else do you want from him? And again, I think that pairing's going to work. I think that they're going to work well together. And I thought it was encouraging to hear from Zach and hear from other people that they all feel like Ja's on the right track. Didn't really want to go into details, kind of what you would expect.
Yeah.
But everybody in this city just wants him to be good.
Yeah.
Like everybody in this city just wants to see him on the court playing basketball, wowing us all with his insane talent.
Right.
And it's gotten a little sidetracked, but we all want the same thing.
He's got room to grow.
We all want the same thing. And if Derrick Rose can help everybody get to that point at all, like everybody's on board. And it helps that he's Derrick Rose.
Yeah. I think one of the things that I noticed about it being there as well is both of those guys came out very clearly and said, number one thing stood out to me big time was what Derrick Rose said, I'm not a plant. That to me opened my eyes to even another layer to this that I think was interesting to me, that I'm not a plant. Like I'm not a front office plant. I'm not a Taylor Jenkins plant. I'm in here. I'm one of you. I'm one of the guys. Number two, I walked away. These two dudes just want to win and they want to still play. And you're talking about Marcus Smart and Derrick Rose. Like, what do they still have to? We know what Marcus Smart can offer. We know what Derrick Rose can do in spurts. If I was Ja, I'd be looking back going, I got some dogs on my side that just want to play. That just want to hoop.
And to your point, Kenny, the whole thing Derrick Rose was saying, he wasn't saying, nah, I'm not going to help Ja. He was saying the way I'm going to help Ja is not because y'all sent me here and not because y'all want me to do it. It's just because real recognize real. Like, and it's just, and real respect real. And it's going to come down to something like that. It's not going to be like where, hey, Derrick, I need you to get with Ja because so-and-so, so-and-so. Nah, man, I'm already on it. You know what I mean? He's already jumped on that assignment anyway. I can't wait to see it, man. I think it's going to be great. I don't really know what he's going to contribute on the court. I would love to see some vintage esque Derrick Rose moments. Not really sure how much of that he's got left, but
just be solid.
Yeah, I'm down for
They
whatever.
just need him to be solid.
Whatever, yeah.
Can you imagine what the FedEx Forum is going to do when and if a vintage Derrick Rose moment happens, though?
Yeah, or if Ja does something crazy and Rose gives him the head nod of approval, like, yeah, if I can still do that, that's what I would do. Like,
yeah, right.
Yeah, something like that. That's what I want to see. I just want to see Derrick Rose give him the head nod or throw him the pass. Either one of those would be nice. Something else that really stood out to me was Taylor Jenkins when he came in and had his availability. And he talked about how, I'm going to paraphrase, but he kind of was saying, like, I know that there's a lot of things I still have left to learn. And I was too stringent about how I coached the team, how I taught offense, how I ran offense, flexibility, using different rotations, different lineups. That really stood out to me to hear him say, like, I realize in order for our half-court offense to get better, I've got to grow and I've got to make some changes as well. How did that stand out to you?
Yeah, I got the message. Like, I picked up that same sort of sentiment. But I'm going to be honest, I didn't exactly understand what he was saying in terms of, because he described it as like gears, right? Instead of saying we need to get in transition, it's going to be gear 3 and gear 2 and gear 1. And it's kind of impossible for him to describe, I guess, the details of all of that in answering a question in like a 5-minute period. But I'll be curious to see what it looks like. Like, I think we're going to learn more when we see it on the court versus what he has to say now. I think he's correct in that assessment that he could still get better, that the team obviously can be better in the half court. The way that the team is constructed now might be slightly better in the half court, but this isn't a much different team. I mean, you would think that having a guy like Tyus Jones is probably better for you in the half court than a guy like Marcus Smart on the ball.
Right.
So we'll see what happens. I get what he was trying to say, and I understand. You know, I respect the fact that he can be critical of himself, but I want to see what it looks like, because I think until we see what it looks like, we won't really know how different it is when we get there. You know,
where are you on the Zaire Williams stuff? Because I'll just be honest, I was just kind of rolling my eyes when fans were responding to the stuff he was saying. I was like, are y'all really listening to what this man is saying? Like, I didn't get. He's like 82 games. I want to be all defensive team. Nobody's worked harder than me. Like, all right, man, come on. Roll the ball out and let's see. Like, that's where I'm at on all that with him. Because I'm like, bro, like, I watched a 25-minute Zaire Williams pre-draft interview. And I was like, all right, this guy talks well. I was like, all right, I don't see any of this in your game. You know what I mean? Like, and I want him to be fine. I want him to be great, because if he's good, I'm not just somebody talking about the team. I love the Memphis Grizzlies. And if he's good, it takes his team to a totally different level.
Right.
But I'm just really, all right, man, this is your show and prove year. Just do it. Like, I was eye-rolling with the stuff he was saying. Like, all right, man. All right, come on.
Yeah.
But where are you at on Zaire Williams' media day stuff?
I think it was interesting to hear Zach say there and Zaire both that he was not injured at the end of last season. Because to me, it never felt like he had the same sort of spring that he had when he was a rookie.
Yeah.
Like, the flashes we saw when he was a rookie were really impressive and led to a lot of optimism. And then what you saw last year was, I mean, it's okay to have a year where you don't shoot the ball as well. It happens to every player in the NBA. But when you're not flashing some of the other tools that you had when you were a rookie, and I know they really loved his off-ball defense, and they still think that can be something that he's really good at in the NBA. When you're not flashing that sort of stuff, that's when you start to lose the confidence in his future. I still believe he can be a good player. Like, just look at the tools. The guy's 6'10", right? He's still young enough.
I'm tired of hearing about that, though, man. Like, he's 6'10".
I know you're ready to see him prove it.
Yeah, let's go play basketball, bro. Like, all right,
I get it. Well, he's going to have the chance to do that. I'm glad he's confident in his offseason that he's had. You want guys to say that nobody's worked harder than me. He seems to be really invested in making sure that this season goes a lot better than it did last season. Whether or not he's going to make that happen remains to be seen. And I guess that's kind of your point. But I would say I'm happy that he's confident. I can look at his tools, and it's like, you know, it's like an NFL quarterback. You can take one look at Anthony Richardson and go, his last year at Florida. Man, this guy may not be ready for the NBA, but look at that arm. Like that guy, and he's an athlete. This guy can run. Or Justin Fields. That's my example. And sometimes it doesn't translate. Look at what's happening to Justin Fields. But if you have the tools, you have the capability of becoming that. At least he has that. Yeah. He has the frame. He has the size. This jump shot looks good, even though it wasn't going in last year. It's not like he has some ugly hitch in his shot that, is a problematic.
His jump shot looks really good.
So why can't he be good? I just want him
to do it,
prove it, though. You're right.
It's the confidence thing. Like, people act like this just like a non-factor, like that's not a big deal. Like, confidence is an NBA skill. Like, either you have it or you don't. Like, you can't, Well,
he seems to be.
I
worked
on my
right
confidence this offseason. Like, what is that? You know what I mean? Like, either you.
Did he say
got
confidence?
It. No,
I mean,
I'm saying you can't say that. Like, that's not a real thing. Either you got it or you either got moxie or you don't.
He's off to the right start though by just saying nobody worked harder than me. Like that's confidence, right? Yeah. So at least
or it could just be talking. I want that dude to be good, man. I want him to be as good as people want him to be.
How
good.
else do you express confidence at media day other than talking?
I don't know. Just say, hey, I had a good summer. I feel like I'm healthy. I'm ready to go hard, and we'll see how it goes. And
to you, that's more confident than
I don't want to hear you talking about saying you didn't work harder than everybody on this team this summer. I question it. Like, what does that even look like for Zaire Williams?
Okay,
Drew,
we
push
don't know
back.
exactly what
like, dude, I don't know, man. I know a lot of people like Zaire more than I do, which is cool. But come on, man, you worked harder than everybody. How you know?
Drew, you push back pretty hard.
You worked harder than Desmond Bain, who had a broken foot and just had surgery and gonna look like an all-star in a couple days. Come on, man, stop.
So,
right, go ahead.
Do you feel like you got the answer that both of y'all got the answers you wanted about his summer league situation? Because I feel like the answer that we got, Drew, you pushed back pretty hard during Zach's press conference or his availability about that explanation about the injury and all that kind of stuff. Mm-hmm. Do you feel like we got the explanation about why he participated or why he did not participate in summer league?
Yes, I do. But I think after I had asked the second question,
that hard working all season.
That is what answered the question. Look, I knew going into summer league that the idea for Zaire was to do this lower body strengthening program. So this is not a new thing. Like, this isn't like they're just saying this now and this is an excuse for why he did. No, this was actually the plan. It's actually what he did. And there's legitimate reasoning to why they believe that was the smartest thing to do. But to me, the reason I followed up on that question was mostly because if the idea is for him to strengthen his lower body, there's got to be reasoning for that.
Right.
And the reasoning for that either needs to be evident from a basketball standpoint, like he needs more bounce or like whatever, but we don't necessarily think that, or it needs to be from an injury standpoint. So you can say he wasn't injured at the end of last year, and it's factually correct. And I'm not saying anything that Zach, I want to be clear. I'm not saying anything Zach said is not true, because all of what he said is true. But and I think he clarified when I asked the follow-up question, part of the reason he's doing this strengthening program was to make sure that the knee tendonitis went away for good so that they don't have to deal with this anymore in the future. Because this was something that, yes, he dealt with at the beginning of last season. Mm-hmm. Maybe he wasn't dealing with at the end of last season, but it was not something that did not hinder him, during the season. I think that it clearly was something that bothered him.
Yeah.
And so,
because he wasn't on crutches, but he was troubled by something going on. Yeah.
So if that's the goal, and they need to make it to where they feel like he's healthier and able to stay healthy, whether it's the knee tendonitis or something else, and they feel like the best thing that they can do is to put him in this lower body strengthening program instead of having him play summer league, who am I to question that? Yeah. I think that that's true. I'm satisfied with the answer that I got on that. But I do think that, to just say he's not hurt and that he's fine and he just didn't play because he didn't need to play, that would be one thing. But that's not what they said. Yeah. They said, yes, it's to make sure we can keep him healthy. And yes, this has kind of been the plan from the beginning. So I'm
that whole thing, I got my jokes off about that too, about the whole summer league thing, which is fine. I mean, whatever. I mean, I get that whole thing. I don't really care whether you play summer league or not. But I just have a problem when people are telling me to be confident in somebody who struggles with confidence. Like, that whole thing is, I can't really stand on that. Like, you know what I mean? Like, I just wonder, is he, I don't know. We'll see. But like I said, this is a big year for him. I hope he's amazing, because an amazing Zaire Williams definitely raises the floor and the ceiling of what this
Any
team
of the
can be.
wings.
Yeah, any of them. Any of them dudes break
Roddy
through.
or Laravia, too.
Yeah.
Who wants to break out?
Right.
Somebody break out.
And I was impressed because I asked them because the Grizzlies kind of have a habit of kind of putting their wing players in the sunken place. Like, they take them, it's like, hey, just go stand in that corner. Because, G.G. Jackson, he joked about that too. But I kind of think that's a real thing. I kind of think they mismanaged what David Roddy. I think they're still trying to figure out what he is, as on this level. So
at one point, I can ask you this. At one point, they were using him in that Dylan Brooks role. And now, look, he's not Dylan Brooks
he's not.
yet.
It's a
Not
rookie.
yet.
Every
Not
rookie's
yet.
going to get cooked on defense.
But
yeah.
do you see it?
Defensively, do I see it?
Defensively, and they want him to be a more efficient version of what Dylan could be offensively.
Possibly. I mean, in college, he was a really good player. He's a really good scorer. He could shoot the ball well. I don't understand why, like I said, they're kind of trying to tame him a little bit too much for me. The same thing with G.G. Jackson. I'm like, why not let that kid go to the hustle and just do him and just learn to be, because he could come in, he could be a guy you could bring in that could be another scorer in a year or two. But Roddy, I think he could be fine. I don't think he's as good as a lot of people kind of want him to be or hype him up to be, but I also don't think they're using him the best particular way. But I will say this about Zaire. I was impressed that he was like, he let me know and let everyone know, yeah, the mid-range stuff is still in there. The taking guys off the dribble is still in there. But that's next phase. I want to be great at being a 3-and-D guy, and that's, I'm down for all that, for sure. But something else from Media Day that I wanted to make sure I talked to you about was Marcus Smart, of course. Where are you at as far as, a lot of people wonder, can he really guard guys that are, the 6'6", 6'7", 6'8", 6'9", wings that the NBA has? I'm pretty confident that he can, but I had Chris Harrington sitting in the same seat, and we both agreed, if it don't work, they assed out. You know what I mean? Because what do you do if Marcus Smart is struggling to guard, the premier wings in the NBA?
And this, it kind of falls into what we were saying about Roddy,
He was talking good last night, too. Marcus Smart was talking good bravado, like, I'm still that dude, but, hey, it goes into...
it's kind of like what we were
Roddy,
mentioning about Roddy, too. Like, in that situation where it's not working, he's kind of your last line of defense, right?
Or Zaire, because he's,
Zaire,
all defensive team, Zaire.
I think that you play too much. I think that Marcus, as far as like guarding guys that are bigger than him, he's shown that he can do it.
Yeah.
My concern with Marcus is this. There's a very select few of NBA players that you can ask to be the best defensive player and offensive player on your team at one time. Or just carry a big load of both, right? So like LeBron, Giannis, like these are huge dudes, right? Like these are big dudes that carry that load on both sides of the ball. Those first 25 games, you're going to be asking Marcus Smart to do both. And that's a lot. Like we talk about Ja's defense sometimes, but like Ja's defense can be what it is because he's so good for you offensively.
Right.
He makes up for it and more. That's what makes him a great player. So if he's an average defender, then he's still a great player. And I think that Jaren's so good on defense that when he's dominating both sides of the ball, you're like, whoa, he could be the best player on this team. To ask Marcus to carry that load offensively and turn around and be the primary defender on every single possession is a lot to ask. And the Celtics were not asking that of him.
Yeah.
And maybe the Grizzlies will be able to do the same and try to play more through Dez and try to get the ball to Jaren more often. But I think that he's going to be, at this stage in his career, he's going to be asked to do a lot. And to me, I wonder how that's going to go. And can you keep him healthy? Because if he gets hurt, man, you are really screwed, especially early in the season. Yeah. So I think for me, that's kind of where my head goes when I start thinking about Marcus. I don't have doubts that he can defend the best players in the NBA, guys that are bigger than him, because he's done it for a long time. And I think so much of it is just energy. Like Dylan is not a premier athlete.
Yeah, he's not even fundamentally sound as a defender. He's just
he has effort and energy. And I think Marcus can bring that exact same thing. You just you can't wear him out on the offensive side and then expect him to do it on defense.
It just kind of makes you, I hear what you're saying to it. I agree with you to an extent. I just don't think that he's going to be asked to be just like a high load playmaker here. Like even Ja, who's one of the better point guards in the league, Ja plays off the ball a lot. You know what I mean?
When you have Dez, it makes it easy.
Yeah, so I think that I'm not really as concerned as that. I think he'll be fine all the way around. I think he's still a top tier, on ball defender of the 1, 2, and the 3 in the NBA. So I'm down for all of it for sure. But yeah, man, this is my man Drew Hill. Y'all know him from the Daily Memphian. Media Day was incredible last night. I don't think I have it yesterday. I don't have anything else except for one thing. Steven Adams.
Okay. I was gonna say we got through the whole podcast and we didn't talk about your Buffaloes.
No, I ain't gonna talk. We talk about that in another part of the show.
Okay.
We gonna talk about. I ain't had nothing. Oh, I do got a bone to pick, man, with all y'all really. Because I've had individual arguments. I said this at the media day yesterday. We'll talk about Steven Adams in a quick second. I've had individual arguments or debates with all of y'all saying I'm too hard on John Conchar, right? Oh, saying he's this. Look at this number. Look at this stat and all this type of stuff, right? Kenny Stubblefield, you were at media day, right?
I was at media day, yes.
All right, John Conchar takes the podium. I said, I ain't going to say nothing. I'm going to eat this sandwich. I'm going to eat this pickle, man, and this sandwich from Panera Bread, courtesy of the Memphis Grizzlies.
What was Drew's first question to him?
Something about
tattoos
or some shit, man. Ain't nobody asked John Conchar nothing about basketball, but this they got him. Like,
yeah, I did.
I thought he's supposed to be a starter.
Y'all had nothing to ask that dude, bro.
I thought he's supposed to be a starter this year.
Y'all had nothing to ask that man.
But here's the thing. All right. I'm going to push back on this a little bit.
Come on, man. Get your water ready too, man.
John is not a talker.
Nah, he ain't a talker.
Especially when the cameras are on.
So that's why y'all had nothing basketball related to talk to him?
Well, because I know he's not going to give me anything that I'm going to be using. It has nothing to do with what he does on the court. Like, is that why you don't like John Conchar?
Man, y'all have made something out of John Conchar that he's just not.
I think
it's because he's a likable dude. That's why.
Yeah, well, that's true.
I don't care about that.
You don't think that's true?
That means nothing to me, bro. I need him to be a basketball player. I don't really care how likable he is at all.
I just think it's a waste of breath to be wasting
time. Him on the court, yeah, it is.
Well, no, you just to be so mad about a 10th man in a rotation.
I don't be mad. They don't use him like a 10th man, though, bro. Like that dude was like getting heavy minutes at one point last year.
Because people are hurt.
I understand it, but okay.
When the team is healthy, John Conchar is like the last guy off the bench for you.
I don't think that's true.
And
that's not true, though, bro.
So why are you?
There are people right now saying he needs to start a small forward, like opening day. And I watched David Roddy.
I don't know where you're finding these people.
David Roddy did we not see games where David Roddy was just sitting there and John Conchar was playing? We was like, okay, why not play the kid that's like 4 years younger than John Conchar? Like,
I think John Conchar,
because we treat him like he's a D-League player.
John
He's 26
Conchar and David
years
Roddy
old.
have different strengths, that's for sure. John Conchar is undoubtedly a better rebounder than David Roddy.
All right.
So if that's
why y'all
what
didn't talk to him about this yesterday? That's all I'm asking, bro. Why y'all didn't talk to him about like basketball stuff yet?
Because I know I'm not going to use his quotes in my story because he's not going to say anything.
This is my guy Drew Hill, y'all.
And yeah, Steven Adams. Steven Adams. He's healthy.
Adams. He's healthy.
He's well.
Is he healthy for real, man?
He's close. He's close.
So when are we gonna see him open tonight?
No,
I think we will.
No.
Oh my God, bro.
So you walked away from yesterday with Zach and with Steven.
Because he was telling all kind of little anecdotal stories. Can you play?
That's what he does.
I didn't feel confident about anything I heard yesterday about where he's going to be in the next couple of months.
I didn't really get a clear answer.
I think that this idea of like we're going to take our time. I mean, I said yes to opening night. I guess I should be more. I'm not like saying that confidently, but I do think that if they think that they can ramp him up to get him ready, then I don't know why would they lie about something like that?
No, I'm not saying they're lying, but like I think Coach Jenkins was like he's ready to go, and then Kleiman was like only somebody we're worried about with the injury is Brandon Clark, and then Adams was like it wouldn't be responsible to say I'm ready to go. Like damn,
because he hasn't played 5-on-5. He hasn't played a game. Like I feel like I walked away from it going.
So he's practicing right now, is what we're assuming, right?
Yeah, he'll be.
If he's practicing right now, I don't have any questions about that.
Well, what concerns me is it feels like they're waiting for his knee to explode. Like get him out there on that 5-on-5, get him out there in a game type situation, and they don't know. It's just
I
they're
get that.
they're rehabbing him until they let's just test him and see what he does in a 5-on-5 type situation,
Right.
And let's just pray to God that it doesn't fall apart.
And I'm
lost in the media day stuff too. By the way, was Brandon Clark had a cleanup procedure. They said,
just
for,
get
that
out
was
there.
wild. That was wild.
I don't think we're going to see him this year.
I don't think so at all. I mean, Zach kind of basically mentioned it yesterday. He's like, we know he'll be back next year. Like that, he said that in the. I was like, he just threw it out there.
Bro,
Oh, yeah, he had
I
a
ain't
cleanup.
I ain't accusing nobody lying. I'm not saying that. I want to make sure I clarify that part there. But why don't we hear these type of instances anywhere else but Memphis? Everybody else's injury is just a regular routine. XYZ happened in XYZ time. We're gonna do this, and he'll be back. Why is all of our injuries weird as hell, bro?
I have a good answer for you. It's because the people that control the message from the Memphis Grizzlies are very careful.
But they're not being
careful.
careful, bro, because they're putting stuff out raggedy as hell, fam.
No, I mean,
I hear you, but the way that this stuff is coming out is not smooth.
It comes out that way because everybody speculates, and because they don't want to say he's going to be back in 4 to 6
But
weeks.
they
and then he's
said
not
that,
back
though,
in
Drew.
4 to 6 weeks.
With Steven Adams, we're talking about.
Well, he clearly had some setbacks. Like that.
And with Jaren a couple years ago, remember? It was the same type of stuff. Weird phrasing about stuff they were doing.
Do you think that the Grizzlies switching their orthopedic group over the summer is a key sign of what's going on?
Nah, I think that's probably corporate stuff. I don't know.
Yeah. I ain't understand people talking about that either. I don't really know how all that works either, though. So, but yeah.
It's just weird, man. I didn't come away from yesterday's media availability any more confident about Steven and his availability than I did before. It just feels all
Strange.
super murky and strange.
Did they clone him? Is that actually the same Steve-O from last year?
That's the same Steve-O.
Okay.
To build a guy that big, take a lot,
man.
A lot of
Like
parts.
double clone.
Yeah.
Those tattoos look kind of new though, man.
He got a new one. Did you know?
No, I'm saying all the old ones look like they were freshly put on him.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
You got him updated? I don't know.
He had like a little taper fade. Like they ain't never seen one no taper fade. Man.
This new one goes like up his neck to like right here.
Somebody was like he looked skinny on Twitter. I'm gonna have to look into that, man. They might have cloned my boy, man.
I don't know if
Anthony, how'd you feel about Steven's rebounding 101 lesson to you yesterday during the availability?
I bought everything he said except for one thing that didn't make sense. Because he was talking like guys who rebound and block shots at the same time don't exist. And that part I didn't agree with. But I think that the reason why Jaren doesn't rebound well is because he's so switchable. He's out there all over the court. He's not like a true like stand around the basket rim protector. And that's why he don't rebound. I don't think it has anything to do with he chooses to block instead of rebound. Because there's been a ton of guys throughout the history of the NBA that have blocked shots and rebounded the same.
Depends on what.
But Jaren just is a much different hybrid type of player.
Well, I think both things can be true.
Yeah.
Like it can be true that Jaren can be a better rebounder. I think that's definitely true. I think Jaren would tell you that. And it could also be true that when he is playing the roamer role, it is a little bit more difficult for him to get a rebound.
Yeah.
Like both of those things can be true at the same time.
And another thing that I think Adam said as far as Jaren and rebounding is that a lot of times with teams, they're strategically designating one guy to be their rebounder. And that's for fast break purposes. That's for getting back on defense type purposes. And I think that that's true. I think that Jaren really doesn't have the responsibility to be designated to go get rebounds for this team. But I think if you called him to do it, eventually, I think he could be a guy that could be an 8 to 10 rebound guy.
Steve Kerr screwed that entire thing up this summer.
I'm glad you said it too.
That was terrible coaching.
Yeah.
It really was.
He really didn't use Jaren well at all. And if he'd have played two bigs, Jaren probably looked like a monster out there.
Well, I mean, we look at it though. This is the one thing that I maybe I shouldn't say terrible coaching. But
I
like,
will.
We look at it from a perspective of like the
VC
guys
Jaren.
we're watching.
Yeah.
They're not thinking how can we maximize Jaren. They're thinking how can we win. But we're thinking how can he?
But we're thinking how could he win because we know that Jaren doing those things.
I think they could have done a better job.
Yeah.
Maximizing Jaren helps them win.
Yeah.
Right.
But yeah,
He's the only true big on the team, really, other than Walker Kessler, who never saw it. Why have him on the team? He's not going to play a minute.
Yeah.
So all right,
Bobby Portis in that joint.
Percentage wise, real quick, X starts on opening night or Steven starts on opening night.
I'm gonna leave it to my boy Drew.
Percentage?
60-40, 70-30.
65% Steven starts.
I don't like them numbers, man. That means he gonna go through camp and they're gonna realize, nah, he ain't right.
I mean, the only hesitation, I mean, what they've suggested is that he's gonna be good. So I'll go over 50%.
Yeah.
But for Steven to say it'd be irresponsible for me to play a full basketball game right now is a little. It gives me some hesitation. Practice, man.
Yeah,
it was good to be here. I appreciate it.
Man.
Episode 33, man. It's an honor.
Drew, do you believe? That's the question.
Do you believe, though?
Yeah.
That's good, man.
Of course.
More enjoyable football experience. University of Memphis football games or any game in the world.
Come on, man. Don't do this. Don't put me in this spot.
Weren't you like the football beat writer? No, you were basketball.
No, I did cover the football team, though.
Did you enjoy the live experience?
My first time.
Did you swag surf?
Well, I was there for the best year. That was the year they had game day.
Yeah.
That was awesome. I had a great time.
Did you swag surf?
No, because I was in the press box.
Did you do the Jack Pirtle's chicken run?
I did not.
Chicken dance, I mean?
I did not. But, I mean, it was a good time. I don't know why you're such a hater. But
Why am I a hater? Because I don't enjoy it, bro. Like, why people, like, one dude was like, yeah, man, just bring your son, man. Come sit tailgate with us. I'm like, man, I went to the Southern Heritage Classic, man. Why would I be impressed by anything going on in a Tiger football game?
Listen. You don't have to enjoy it.
You ever been to the Southern Heritage Classic?
Yes.
Is it anywhere close as far as like in-game vibe experience?
Depends on the game. Depends on the Memphis game.
Bro, I don't even know what happened at the Southern Heritage Classic on the field. It's just a vibe, bro.
Well, yeah. I mean, the Southern Heritage Classic, the bands like make the experience.
I ain't gonna say that. They do, but that's over the top. Even if the bands weren't there, it'll still be a vibe, man.
Oh, well, I'm sure, but I love, like, that was awesome. I had the chance, actually. It was the year that it got rained out, and they didn't play. I went the year before that, too. But the year that it got rained out, I was, like, embedded with the Jackson State band with Sonic Boom of the South. And that was awesome. Like, I just was walking around with them, and, like, they take it so serious. And it was, like, just the entire thing was, like, so impressive.
But I had a Tiger, but
listen,
the Tiger band being a close
Here's
second.
my point to you on Memphis football.
Right,
I'm going to speak on behalf of Memphis football fans, and I'm not even a Memphis
And you understand my issue is not with the actual team, because I watch the games. I watch every game on television.
It is fine if you can enjoy it. That's fine.
I don't have to enjoy it.
But you don't have to say anything
And it looks
about
like trash on television.
You can just sit at home and not say anything about it.
Or I could get the people stirred up, man.
Yeah, well, then you come across as a hater. That's why you're getting.
That's fine.
That's why people are accusing you of being a hater.
I'll take that.
Okay, I'm good. I'm glad we were able to come to a good conclusion. You're like, why are people accusing me of a hater?
I ain't saying that at all.
Because you're on Twitter talking about how bad it looks on TV.
That's right. You won't see me at a Tiger football game this year, but you will see me this Saturday at Redbird Stadium, 901 FC, taking on somebody. I will be breaking the guitar. Because since I am a 901 FC celebrity fan.
Ja Morant, Gary Parrish, and Anthony Sain.
And Tim Howard, man.
Tim Howard. How can we forget?
Anthony's been promoting this as he's the only black man to ever break the guitar at the 901 FC game.
And like 5 Grizzly players have
done
done
it. I'm like, bro, half the Grizzlies have done it, man.
I'm the first ever non-athlete to break the guitar.
Gary did it.
I'll be your first black dude. That's enough.
Okay.
Just some random South Memphis guy breaking the guitar.
It's a kid from 38106.
That's what I'm talking about.
This is my man, Drew Hill, man. Drew, we appreciate you coming out today,
appreciate
man.
It. Yeah.
I'll see you in about an hour or so. The Grizzlies' first day of practice is today. I might look at Steven Adams up close. Ask him some questions only the real Steve-O would know.
We'll see if he's practicing.
see how hard Zion Williams is working in that joint.
Good.
But we out, man. We're about to take a break. When we come back,
I was like, damn, I got to get down to practice.
When we come back, the 3-pointer is going to be next on the Anthony Sain Show. See you guys in a bit.
But there is someone I want to talk about, someone that you and I are big fans of, and he is becoming really a superstar in front of our eyes, and that is Chandler Martin, the transfer from East Tennessee State. He's the modern-day linebacker. He's a little bit undersized, but he's fast. He's physical. Yeah. He can cover. This guy can do everything, and he has been incredible for this Memphis defense. And we talk about this all the time, like coming in from smaller schools, how does it translate? And Chandler is a guy that sold out quickly. Yeah. And everything is translated extremely well and very fast. And he is so impressive for this defense.
He really does stand out for the Tigers. When he puts his hands on a guy, when he puts his pads on a guy, he makes an impact. Like he's not a speed guy who doesn't know how to tackle.
Tune in to On the Bluff with Christian Fowler and Gabe Kuhn every Tuesday at 12 p.m. on the Bluff City Media YouTube channel.
But looking back on it, I think Seth has to be better. I think play calling needs to be better. I think that
at times,
sure. It feels
a lot of
like
it is RPO, so it looks one way. It looks like we're just handing it off left and right. But that's not really what it is. The offense can't get into any sort of like they go through these periods where they look great, they're moving the ball, they can put points up, and then they just 3 and out or 4 plays, 10 yards, and have to punt. Like
that was kind of surprising.
Rock looks like what we've hoped he would look like.
Yeah,
he and Blake need to be your offense moving forward.
I am going to disagree there. Only because we have more weapons. Where's Blake Humsey? Where's Demir? It feels like the offense has been handcuffed.
Stop using the run to try to set up the pass.
It can be, you can flip that.
Throw the ball down the field and it'll open the run up.
Spread it, open it up, spread the ball around. That will open up the box. Let Blake be Blake.
Tune in to Tigers Untapped with TJ Willis and Trey Lasley every Wednesday at 3 p.m. on the Bluff City Media YouTube channel. Bluff City Media and Bluff City NIL are proud partners of Coaching for Literacy, a Memphis nonprofit using the power of sports to impact childhood literacy. When you donate to Bluff City NIL through Coaching for Literacy, your gift is 100% tax deductible. This partnership is a win-win-win. Tiger student athletes win in the NIL landscape. Coaching for Literacy wins by engaging Tiger student athletes in this monumental cause. And most importantly, elementary students in Memphis receive support to become strong readers. To donate today, visit coachingforliteracy.org/bluff-city.
All right, y'all, welcome back to the Anthony Sain Show. About to jump into the three-pointer. My man, Drew Hill, a good interview with Drew, man. Drew doesn't look the same. Like, when Drew got here, he looks a lot like we've seen him become a grown-ass man in the city, for sure.
Drew has, Drew, when he first got here, was he the Memphis Tiger basketball beat writer?
He was. And he ain't had none of this. That dude's got like the full
beard going. He's assimilated into that.
He's really good, man.
Culture, man. Oh, Drew's
really
awesome.
good. He's really awesome. Good at what he does, for sure. He's the type of guy, he can really pull those backstories out and just really bring life to a story. He's a really good writer, for sure. Shout out to my
y'all's
boy,
conversation was dope to me.
Yeah, man, that's my guy, man. I like Drew, man. He's also a guy that he does kind of like me and Jessica Benson were. We both were doing guest hosting in 92.9 at the same time.
Is he a part of the Kevin Cerrito tree?
No, he came here after Cerrito, for sure. You know who else is part of the Kevin Cerrito family tree?
So after you and Jessica talked, you found out some more people that are part of it? Who?
No, somebody else saw the podcast and came to me and said, me too. I am also a member of the Cerrito family tree.
Who's
my
that?
good friend, Justin Ford. I did not know that.
The photographer?
Yes, Justin
The guy
Ford.
who works for the Associated Press?
Yeah, he works for
USA Today.
He works for Getty. Works for Getty Images.
I think he works for USA Today and Associated Press and does Getty.
But yeah.
Justin is, let me tell you a funny story about Justin, all right?
Oh, you say he works for all three? It's probably something.
Well, I think he gets, it's a licensing thing, right?
Sure, he ain't turning no money down.
No, he ain't turning no money down.
But go ahead.
So I used to sit, when I first started covering the Memphis Tiger basketball program, I was taking pictures. And I'm a video guy. I got my start in video, did all that kind of stuff. And the company I was working for said we need some pictures, and I said, okay, good, I can do this. What's the difference, right? You're just taking photography, right? Still shots instead of video. And I get out there, and my seat is right next to Justin on the baseline, and so we're taking shots at the same angle. Basically, we're doing all this kind of stuff.
Yeah.
The guys that I was working with, when they would put photography together, we had access to Justin's pictures. Like, we could use them and license them.
You realize real soon.
I realized real soon there's levels to this thing. Like this, I would have the same angle picture as Justin, and they would always use Justin's pictures because his were so much better than mine. He's a beast, man.
Yeah, he told me that he was working at the zoo. He said he was working at the zoo, and he met Kevin Cerrito. And Cerrito was like, hey.
Wait, was he one of those photographers at the front of the zoo? That's crazy.
I think so. And Cerrito got him on. Bro, Cerrito, I've been trying to get Cerrito on this entire time we've been doing this.
We got to get this man on.
Yeah. People don't really understand, bro. Kevin Cerrito is kind of like, what's his name? God, dog it, man. Suave House Records, the Prince.
Jay Prince.
Yeah, he's kind of like the Jay Prince of Memphis media, man. He's kind of like, what's the guy with the NBA? He's with the Knicks. He was with Calipari at one time.
Worldwide West.
Worldwide West.
Kind of behind the scenes.
Yeah, behind the scenes moving.
But the mover and the shaker behind the scenes. Yeah.
Just to speak of how much of a hustler my man Cerrito is, we're going to get into the three-pointer. It's going to be a quick one, too. But just to show you how much of a hustler my man Cerrito is, he does the trivia nights, right?
Yeah.
That are in bars.
Yeah.
Right? He got those going all over the city. He might have 2 or 3 going on at the same night that are all under the brand Cerrito Trivia, but he might not even be there.
Right.
So that's the kind of level of boss type shit he got going on. But with that being said, during the pandemic, wasn't no bars. Everything was shut down. This dude was having trivia nights at the drive-in movie theater, fam. In your car.
That's a hustle, man. That's a hustler.
My man, Cerrito, Kevin Cerrito. Check him out, 901 Wrestling. He's the host of the show when you go there. Just one of my guys who really put me on. Like I said, he was the first person to ever give me a microphone and say, hey, just go do your thing. And that was my man, Kevin Cerrito, for sure. I would not be here doing this at all if it wasn't for Cerrito. Like, I really think he would be lying because he was like, yeah, man, I got to go out of town, and can you hold the show down for me Saturday?
Funny, man.
I think he was sitting at the house listening like, yeah, he got it. You know what I mean?
Hey, man.
For real, that's me, Jessica Benson, CJ Hurt, and Justin Ford all came from the Cerrito family.
And I'm sure there's more out there,
Probably
too.
more.
Yeah, that's crazy.
Because Marcus Hunter was on this show, too.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, yeah, man. Cerrito family tree for sure. But the three-pointer. We'll be talking about 3 things going on in the world of sports. Plenty of stuff to talk about from Grizz Media Day, but we're going to keep the Grizzlies out of this conversation. Number 1, Grizzlies Student Madness is...
Student Madness.
That's it. Look at that. Got Grizzlies on the brain, man.
You do. Yep.
Tigers Student Madness is tonight if you're watching the show on Wednesday. That's going to be happening at the El Marone, the future home of...
Man, stop it, bro. I feel like we mended some bridges in that first segment, and now you're just blowing that shit up again.
Oh, man. Hey, all I got to say is y'all better hope Penny just... Anyway. Yeah. It's going to be a super exciting season, man. This Tiger team, I saw a clip that said like 50-something seconds of Javon Quinley going crazy with the rock, and I was like, yeah, man, let's get this thing started, bro.
Yeah, man.
I'm not doing this to pander. I'm not pandering, bro. Like, I don't understand why the city of Memphis is not going nuts about this team. Like, I've seen way bigger buzzes about other teams that Penny has had. This team is like Final Four national championship good to me, man. Like, I don't understand what people need to see.
Yeah.
Like, I think the city is like really not buzzing the way they should be buzzing over this team. Like, this team, like, you're talking about a team full of veteran players who were very good players in other teams. If you can get the chemistry together and guys to buy in to what Penny Hardaway wants to do, you're going to be good defensively. We saw this team play against grown-ass men in the DR. And
without half their team.
Without half their team, playing against guys who played in the FIBA World Championship outside of Karl Anthony Towns. This team is going to be good. I'm excited about it, and it's good for the students. I just preached in the last segment about how, my bad, bro. Got acid reflux. Power of the podcast. But we don't have to. Dang, what was I saying?
You were talking about student section.
That hit me, man.
You good?
You're just talking about how, the next generation. You have to, the University of Memphis has really dropped the ball in the last 10, 15 years. Not talking about on-court performance or for basketball or football, but just engaging the next generation. Something about the Grizzlies. You do not have to be a Memphian to be a Grizzlies fan.
Right.
You didn't have to go to the University of Memphis to be a Grizzlies fan. The Tigers have to find a way to get people more engaged who are not from this city and who are not alumni of the University of Memphis and get those people engaged. Student Madness is a good way to do that because a lot of those students may not be from here. They're in Memphis looking for something to do. If you can engage them to the basketball team that's on campus, that they're paying student activity fees to go to, get that the most fun times in that arena was when that student section was jumping and when it was the what did they call them? The
Blue Crew.
The Blue Crew. When they had the Blue Crew. That was when it was jumping in there. And if they can get that back going, they can really change the atmosphere in those games.
Dude, I'm telling you.
Because I dare you, Mildred. I dare you, Mildred. I'm looking to the camera. I dare you, Mildred, to tell somebody in the Blue Crew to sit down when the game's live. I dare you. They won't even hear you, Mildred, at all.
Mildred might be standing up.
Hey, Mildred might get her ass up.
That's what I'm saying.
For real though. But nah, go ahead.
It's the ambush now, man. That ain't the Blue Crew anymore.
Ambush.
Ambush.
That was just called for real?
Yeah, Memphis Ambush.
The
Student section.
Am-vets.
No. Listen, man, I'm telling you, when they were live last year, when they came, man, I'm telling you, that student section was fire.
Can you know what we need to do though? We need to do a I don't know. I'm going to some Tiger basketball games this year. I don't know who I need to email to make that happen, but I'll be at those. But,
I got you, man.
But Tiger football, y'all, we might do something. We might do a tailgate. Because don't we have a Bluff City Media tailgate?
We did one for the Bethune-Cookman game and then did one for the Boise State game.
And we ain't doing no more?
We might. I mean, I think I don't think any discussions have been had so far, but the Tigers have a big football game coming up against SMU kind of at the end of the year, so that might be a good time.
Put me on the docket, man. Put me on the
Wait.
Put me on the flyer, man.
Are you coming?
I might, man. Y'all doing it. I gotta have my name and face on the flyer though, man.
Listen. This is gonna be hey,
you gonna have to have some security around that joint.
They're gonna have some fun. It's gonna be interesting. I'm gonna challenge. I want to tell all Memphis Tiger football fans, come to the Bluff City Media tent and hang out with Sain, man.
Hang out with your
show
boy,
him
man.
the way, man. Show him what's
your boy.
what's
I'm
good.
gonna have my Tiger blue on, man.
That's right.
I have my Tiger blue on up in that joint.
Yeah, man.
Taking pictures with Mildred with your grandmama. Bring your grandmama. Bring your grandmama to that joint. But
I think it's smart that they're doing the student thing, man. It's a good decision. I mean, listen, man.
I like it.
I like. Here's my thing. It's always good to try new things, right? Mm-hmm. Be innovative. Try to figure out different ways to get people involved. Yeah. I think they're recognizing. I think the University of Memphis administration is recognizing that they have to do better about getting student activity, student involvement in what they do.
They're paying for it. They're paying for it anyway, so why not go?
Come on.
Yeah, man, I'm with it for sure. Number 2, speaking of the University of Memphis, some kind of sombering news. I'm starting to think that the group I'm in might be the majority at this point, though, man. Our own Roman Cleary as well as Hitman Hoops of Bluff City Media both put out information, both put out articles about the Deandre Williams situation, saying that several sources are saying that the University of Memphis' initial attempt to get a waiver for Deandre Williams was denied, and they're now in the process of an appeal trying to get him on the court. I'll say this, man. I think this Tiger team will be good as hell with or without Deandre Williams. And I honestly do want to see what they look like without him, to be honest with you. Because I think that lineup, they could start with Jaquan Walton and at the 4, or what's his name?
David Jones at the 3.
David Jones at the 3, or vice versa, however you want to do it.
David's a little bit shorter than I thought that he was. Jaquan is much bigger than David Jones. David Jones, though, and some of the practice stuff that I've been able to see, his shot creativity from the key, from the top of the paint, and from the top of the key is pretty awesome. Yeah, man. And if he can get his shot off, woo. Yeah. Man.
I like how they look even without DeAndre. And I get it. Some people are saying that, it's unfair. I know you've spoken saying that in fairness, he should be able to play. But I don't really think NCAA gives a crap.
No,
as old as he is, that is factoring in, man. I'm not saying that it should be, but it's clearly a factor in this. The fact that he's just old and he's played that many games.
His age has nothing to do with it.
I agree with you. But I think in that court of law, Kenny Stubblefield, I think that is mattering. I think that is one of the reasons.
Except for the fact that we have multiple examples of guys even older than him playing in sports. I mean,
how you think it's going to play out?
I think I'm gonna choose to withhold my my opinion on it because you kind of do understand kind of what's going on behind the scenes and hearing some different things.
Right.
I think that the case that he has made, that DeAndre has made, is super compelling. I think the NCAA, even in the midst of them denying that first application, recognizes the compelling nature of DeAndre Williams' case. And I think they're giving him every opportunity to make his case in a much more and they're doing things behind the scenes that I've never heard the NCAA do before in terms of these kinds of cases. Do I think that I just don't think that I think the case comes down to the fact that in this day and age of college athletics, because of COVID, because of the pandemic, players have been given the opportunity to have 5 seasons of eligibility. DeAndre has been given 4. And the NCAA has basically said that first year that we deemed him ineligible, we're counting against him. And DeAndre is saying that's not fair.
I get that.
And that's a very compelling case. His age, he's not, it's not like he's a 2-time transfer. He's transferring from school to school to school to school to school. NCAA's already approved a kid that has 9 years of eligibility playing football, who's playing football for the Miami Hurricanes.
I seen it.
I mean, this is the kind of stuff I'm talking. He's played for Evansville, and then he transferred to Memphis, and he's played 3 years at Memphis and is trying to play his 4th. And so I think his case is super compelling. I don't trust the NCAA. I don't think the NCAA has any. I think they're very arbitrary in how they handle these kinds of situations. So I just don't think, though, that I think when people say his age plays a role in this, I think what they're saying is
they don't trust the NCAA.
They don't trust the NCAA.
That's all I'm saying.
And it's weird to them that he's 27 years old.
Right.
And people in Memphis know the backstory, why he is the age that he is and has the eligibility that he has. I don't know, man. I really, if his claim, if his appeal is accepted and he gets to play, we're top 5 team in the country, top 10 team in the country. Without him, I agree with you. They have the players on that squad that I believe can be extremely good for the Tigers.
And chemistry-wise, it might be best that he's not there, man. I mean, I'm okay with saying that. Like, I think that if he's not there, you're gonna have some problems if you're telling David Jones or Jaquan Walton they got to come off the bench. Like, it's gonna be an issue, man. You're already gonna be walking a very fine line anyway, chemistry wise. Even if DeAndre doesn't come, and if DeAndre come and one of those guys will come off the bench, like that's why I said in the beginning I would explore talking to DeAndre about coming off the bench. I mean, seriously, man, because like for those other dudes, it's gonna be something, man. Like if one of those guys sits, they might not be here the entire year. It's gonna be one of those type of things. And I just think it could be kind of disruptive, but I'm down for however it goes.
Yep. I think one of Penny's gifts is that he has the ability to be able to work through all that stuff. And DeAndre has shown even an ability to adapt his role to the players that are on the team.
Yeah.
You saw it with Jalen Durn and Amani Bates.
Right.
He went from averaging double-digit shots a game to averaging less than 10 in that season because he knew Amani and Jalen needed to eat.
Yeah.
And then as soon as they left, the very next year he comes back and he's one of the best power forwards in the game. So we'll see, man. I don't think whether you add him or not, I think it's icing on the cake.
Yeah, exactly. I totally agree with you there. Number 3, your University of Memphis football team is 4-1. Kenny Stubblefield, their only loss to Missouri. They got a big win over Boise State the other night, 35-32 at the Liberty Bowl. Like I said, they only lost to Missouri, who's ranked number 21 in the country.
Right.
Seth Hennigan had probably his best game since his freshman season. When he was throwing the ball to guys that were
when the schedule came out was this 3-game series: Missouri, Boise, and Tulane. Tulane is ranked in the top 5 of non-Power 5 schools right now in terms of what people are seeing as the potential New Year's Six Bowl team that represents the G5.
You win this game, you can really help yourself.
Man, you win this game and you're cooking with some grease, bro. Because then the only game there's only one more game on that schedule that you're not going to be favored to win, and that's probably SMU. But here's the thing. Memphis, and they
got both of those games at home.
Yeah, Memphis. They said this multiple times on the broadcast during the Boise State game. In the last, I don't want to get the number wrong, maybe 10 years or 15 years, the Tigers have the 4th best home win-loss record in college football. Yeah, and the only 3 teams above them are Clemson, Georgia, and Alabama. And so you're talking about a team that does not lose at home very often. Yeah. So Tulane is going to be a fun game. Tigers are coming off a bye week. So right now they're in the middle of their bye week. And yeah, man, it's going to be this Tulane game next weekend is going to be wild. Yeah, for sure. I'm down for all of it, man. Good to see the Tigers doing good. No, y'all think I don't like the team. I like the team. Y'all just I know you like the team.
Y'all get on my nerves. That's all I got.
It's all good, man.
That's it, man. That's a 3-pointer. When we take a break, we're going to come back, do this thing called Inside the Sain Brain. Y'all know what's coming up. We'll see you guys in a minute here on After the Sain Show.
Shout out to freaking Gillis for
shout out to Tanner Gillis, dude.
Stepping in and looking like a kicker.
Was that not the weirdest tweet ever?
I don't want to even. It's disgusting. How do both of your scholarship kickers the first tweet I saw didn't say anything about injury, so I was like, it is the stomach bug. The Willis household has it. He was hanging out with Seth and Tristan.
Yeah, we all went to Firehouse.
They must have been roommates in St. Louis. They got boo-boo bottom and they can't play. And then somebody said they were injured, and I'm like, okay, what the hell's going on? Did they get hurt at Topgolf, trying to outdrive each other? I
have no clue how your kicker gets hurt. Not one.
Not just one. Both.
Yeah, both.
In the same week. Something's fishy.
He said that he knew that they were hurt, but they were kind of day to day, so I didn't want to say anything about it.
I mean, were they riding somewhere together and were in a minor car accident?
Tandem bikes?
Yeah, I don't know.
On a tandem bike and fell over.
Tune in to Tigers Untapped with TJ Willis and Trey Lasley every Wednesday at 3 p.m. on the Bluff City Media YouTube channel.
Seth Hennigan, we've been critical of him and his performance and turning the ball over, and this game was really on his shoulders, and he delivered.
He delivered, man. It just felt very uninspiring the first, quarter and a half or quarter and three quarters of the second quarter. It just felt completely uninspired football coming from the Tigers. And a lot of it was on, with Seth, the way that he was, there just didn't seem to be a whole lot of let's go. What's the word I'm looking for? Just
sense of
urgency to really get things going. And then that shifted, man.
It wasn't his most passing yards or his most touchdowns or his most completions, but just as far as managing the game and keeping the team in the game and it was definitely the best performance from this year. And just thinking back, it's definitely up there for his best performance in a Memphis uniform.
Tune into On the Bluff with Christian Fowler and Gabe Kuhn every Tuesday at 12 p.m. on the Bluff City Media YouTube channel. Bluff City Media and Bluff City NIL are proud partners of Coaching for Literacy, a Memphis nonprofit using the power of sports to impact childhood literacy. When you donate to Bluff City NIL through Coaching for Literacy, your gift is 100% tax deductible. This partnership is a win-win-win. Tiger student athletes win in the NIL landscape, Coaching for Literacy wins by engaging Tiger student athletes in this monumental cause, and most importantly, elementary students in Memphis receive support to become strong readers. To donate today, visit coachingforliteracy.org/bluff-city.
y'all? Welcome back to the final segment of the show. Shout out to my man Drew Hill coming in and rocking with me, man. I know he's a busy man. We had to move some stuff around today, man. We got kids with sports tonight that would have games. We had to record, so we had to come in early. Drew came in early and rocked with us today, man. And I'm hoping I can see him. I'm gonna shoot down the FedEx Forum for the first practice of the season. I usually at least try to make the first one, man.
I need you to tell me. Is Zaire working hard? Number one.
Is he working hard out there?
Is Steven Adams? Is he
clone? Is
he shedding his clone skin, or is he actually practicing?
Yeah, I don't want him to glitch or.
Yeah, don't let the AI glitch on you.
Yeah, I can't let him do it, man. Can't let him do it for sure. But inside the same brain, you guys are probably watching this show the day it comes out, which is Wednesday. And with that being said, Election Day is going to be on tomorrow.
Let's go, man.
Here in the city of Memphis. I'm not going to tell you guys who to vote for. If you pay attention to me, you probably would know. This is not a radio station, so I can endorse freely who I would like for you guys.
We've only had one candidate.
We've only had one candidate on, so I'm not going to tell you have to vote for him. But I'm not going to go there at all. But exercise your right to vote, Memphis. This is the first year in a long time that there is not an incumbent there. And I think it's a very important decision for this city. A city has got a lot going on right now, man. We're basically transitioning from small town to city.
Yeah.
And I think people don't really understand that.
Yeah.
Whenever you're in a major metropolis, major city, there's going to be crime. There's going to be poverty. Poverty is what leads to crime. That's just what it is. And I think it was Gandhi, if I'm not mistaken, who said that. Or was it? No. I'm sorry, it was not Gandhi. It was Mandela. I was having a Mandela effect, so to speak. But no, I think it was Mandela who said that poverty is a man-made condition, and it takes people to fix it. Think about that one, Ken, when you get a free minute.
That's powerful.
It's powerful stuff, though. But I think that, whenever there's a situation like that, it leads to crime, leads to these things, et cetera. And I think we're in a crucial point of our city where we have to make wise decisions. You got this. If you're watching this show, it's more likely because of sports, and you have big decisions to make about the arenas and things like that. I think that you should be looking at someone who's competent to make decisions that will affect this city for the next 4 years. Well, I think it's a crucial time. There's a lot of things have to be addressed here in the city, man. But like I said, get out and vote. If you haven't early voted, that's cool. Get out and vote on Election Day and make your voice be heard. Even if you, I've had conversations about wasting votes and things like that.
Yep.
I'd rather you not do that. I'd rather you kind of vote for a change, vote for something that's going to someone who can actually win. But it's your right. If you don't want to vote for, you vote who you want to vote for, man, for sure. If you reach me off to the side, I'll tell you who I think a wasted vote would be. if you want to do that. But that's cool. I'm gonna tell you what I'm proud of, man. This time maybe 5 years ago, Anthony Sain would not have given a flip about voting.
Right.
I've kind of had a change of pace on that as I reach these years in my life. And I think that, I'm sponsoring Tammy Sawyer's thing she's doing as far as bringing awareness and just celebrating the election tomorrow. I'm one of her sponsors for that. And it's like, man, I feel, and she reached out to me about being an election day correspondent, like being in somebody's election thing and like giving reports. I was like, no, my man lose. I ain't trying to be out there looking like a bum.
You be cussing folks out?
I'll be mad as a bum. Like, you garbage. Like, bro, like I said, get out and vote. I'll be honest with you. There is one person that I would be embarrassed. I would wake up feeling embarrassed about if the city let me down, if this person won. But I also feel like that person could swing the vote. Like, he can take much needed votes for someone else. There's one other person I'm kind of concerned about. But I think that that's on my only concern. There's only one like doomsday, situation for me to wake up to on Friday morning or late Thursday night or whatever. But other than that, I could, whatever. I can get with it eventually. But yeah, get out and do it, man. Get out and vote, man. It's your right. Go out there and do that thing for sure. Yeah, for sure, man. But that's all I got. Get out and vote. That's what's on my brain.
Exercise that right, man.
Yeah, that was not with the help of any of my glaucoma medication. That was just on my mind.
Yeah, man.
Yeah, just being a sovereign citizen, a sound-minded citizen.
That's right.
For sure. Shout out to all the candidates. A lot of y'all ass should have dropped out a long time ago. This should really be about a 4-man race. You want to be honest with you? But
is there still 17 people involved?
Nobody dropped out, bro.
Wow.
Nobody dropped out. Everybody who entered, they stayed in this thing till the end. And that kind of bothers me. That's very embarrassing that people are allowing that vote to get, just split up like that. But, yeah, a lot of these people should have got out a long time ago. But, yeah. It's all good, though, man. But it's been another Anthony Sain show. Shout out to my man, Drew Hill, coming on with us today. I'm about to head down to FedEx Forum and try to get a piece of this little practice situation they got going on. Maybe I can get some interviews in or whatever, for sure. I think they started without me, but I'll try to get down there, see what's going on. But, yeah, man, for Kenny Stubblefield behind the glass, it's your boy Anthony Sain, and we out.
Thank you for listening to The Anthony Sain Show. If you enjoyed this episode, leave a rating and a review wherever you download your podcasts. Also, like and subscribe to Bluff City Media's YouTube page. For comprehensive coverage of Memphis sports, head over to www.bluffcitymedia.co and find out how you can become an insider. We will see you back here next week.